On December 2nd, 2015, Chennai, the fourth largest city in India, was drowned in floods. The rainfall was recorded to be the highest in 100 years. Hundreds of lives were lost, millions left homeless, and several missing. On the 1st of December at 10 p.m., 30,000 cusecs of water was released from the Chembarambakkam reservoir into the Adya river, which winds its way through the city, flooding the banks and the surroundings for around 4 kilometers. Below the bridge, a slum had taken foothold, where most of the houses had washed away. With more than 29% population of the city living in slums, the homes of thousands of people ended up like this. In this area, the water level had risen to about 5 meters, drowning the ground floor completely. Even after the floodwater has receded, it will take a long time for these people to get back to normalcy. Over 2 million people were rescued from different areas by the Natural Disaster Response Force, Indian Armed Forces, and the police.
It rained very heavily throughout the night. So the next day there was a huge deluge everywhere in parts of the city. So the very first day, the situation was very alarming in the sense that water level was rising everywhere. And there were frantic calls from people from across the city, because initial times when the power was cut, the cell phones of the citizens were working. So they were making frantic calls that water level is rising here and there. But it was also very dangerous to carry out rescue operations in some areas where the flow of water was very high. So the level of water at some places, it was very alarming. It was touching the first floor, in some places going above the first floor, and after the floods, if you visit the city, it is there for you to see the damage, the roads, the buildings, the houses, the furniture, household items which are lying, and you see in some areas, cars and motorcycles have been washed from one end of the street to other end of the street.
The loss of property from this flood was reported to be around rupees 20,000 crores to rupees 1 lakh crores, the costliest to have occurred in 2015. Some 1 million people were living in 136 relief camps, while aid agencies rushed to provide food, water, medicines, and sanitation. Sure, El Niño is one of the reasons for the floods. But considering uncontrolled urbanization, improper management of drainage and the reservoirs, a question arises if the disaster was man-made, and if so, could it have been prevented? This film is not intended for monetary profits. It is produced in public interest by Liminal Media Productions.